Can't believe it. Yeah, Elder Sensei.
Oh man, thank y'all for having me.
I always call you El Sensei. I always forget duh.
Look, it's funny when I'm over there, they say Elder. They think Elder is my first name.
Elder.
And then Sensei is the last name.
No, I just say Sensei. Some people call you Sensei. Some people call you El Sensei.
A lot of people call me El.
Or some people call you like EDS.
Nah, that's the first time I heard that.
First time?
Yeah.
EDS. Way easy. Because at first I couldn't spell Sensei. I'm like, how you spell Sensei?
Yeah, and then at first they were spelling that wrong too.
They put S-A-Y then S-I.
S-A-I. When I first went over there, they saw the promo picture like, your name you spelled wrong. It's Sensei right now.
So how's 2025 treating you?
Check out, man. 2025 is really good right now. I can't complain. Work is coming, and that's the most important thing. New album out. Me and my brother MentPlus. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the album project. Is it Unpack? Unpack, right?
The Unexpected.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Unexpected. Yeah, Unexpected. Yeah. So let's go back a bit. El.
Yeah.
You're part of the most prolific. First of all, before I even start, Artifacts. Is it Artifact or is it Artifacts?
Artifacts, yeah.
Now, where did that name come from?
So Artifacts, we actually wasn't called Artifacts when we got signed. We was called That's Them at first. We had our first meeting with Atlantic, and Big Beat Atlantic, and they asked us, okay, what's the name of the group? Because we got our deal strictly from being on Stretch Armstrong and Bobito Show. And when we got the deal secured, first meeting, what's the name of the group? That's Them. Yeah, y'all gonna have to work on that. Let's see, y'all can come up with something else. So we looking at each other, leaving the meeting, and we like, wow, like, what we gonna do? We got the names just off of showing up at auditions, and people seeing us. Oh, that's them dudes right there. They just knowing about us that way. So we went back home, going back to Jersey, and I looked at Tame, and I don't know why this came over me, but I was like, yo, Artifacts. And he was like, now, of course, we ain't got no phones. Back then, there wasn't no Google. So we get back to the crib, and, of course, we knew what it meant, but we had to see it in writing. So Artifacts is anything from ancient times brought to newer times to study and analyze and, get historical, from it. And I said, wow, we still B-boys. We do graffiti. At this time in 92, 93, it wasn't a lot of hip-hop that was like, back in the day, whether it be B-boying or graffiti artists. It was, hip-hop was at a crossroads with that. So we came back to the label for the next meeting, and we was comfortable, because we already knew what it was. And we was waiting for them to ask us, and as soon as they said it was like Artifacts, we sat back. And the lady said, okay, that might work. Now, let's go over here in this other room and go to the computer so we can make sure there's no other hip-hop group with that name. So that's how Artifacts.
So they had to look it up and make sure.
Yeah, and thankfully it wasn't.
Oh, did you get offers from like different labels, like Tommy Boy or Payday?
Nah, and that's very fortunate as well. We didn't have to go through the listen to my demo phase. And that was from us, being on Stretch and Bob. New York with Stretch and Bob was on fire every Thursday, 1 o'clock to 5 a.m.
WKCR.
Yes, indeed, Columbia University. And we went up there. Tame won a battle on the phone 1 week. Then the next week, I went on and did the same thing, but it didn't matter what I did because Tame already had secured it. So we go up there. For 15 minutes, we rapped on this Zulu War Chant record, and that was me and Tame's introduction to New York itself, let alone just being up there with them. People was calling up while we was rocking, because like they were like, who them dudes up there? And then after it was over, just so happened, we knew Bob worked at Def Jam at the time. But we didn't know Stretch had worked at Atlantic. which he was working with my man Rob Reef Tulo. And after that one radio show, they just like, yo, take our numbers. And they kept in contact with us, and we just didn't know that we was meeting people that was going to groom us to actually get a deal. So we didn't have to get shopped around. You know, Reef was right there with Stretch. So they took us to Atlantic. And which is funny because when you look at Nas' story of how he began, and he was working with Search and a few other people that were working with Nas was shopping him around. And he almost signed to Big Beat Atlantic, and it was only because they had got a hip-hop division, and we had got signed. Okay. And we had got signed at a time where there's a lot of people getting shopped around at that time. So it was kind of funny when I look at his documentary of some sort and see that he was almost on the same path as us.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he didn't have to go to a whole bunch of other labels either. He had a few people he worked with, and that was what was happening to us. So, you know, that's how we, you know, began and didn't have to go through all the, you know, I'm glad we didn't have to do that. I didn't want to have no stories of like songs I heard, so that was good that we had got that.
Okay, so let's go back to the radio stations. I remember when you said radio station, I thought of the Awesome 2 radio show.
Right.
Half Pint show. And it was like another one. I think it was every Wednesday or if not every Saturday from 12 to 4 or 5 in the morning.
I know it was Pirate Radio was on 105.
Oh, yeah, Pirate Radio.
Red Bandit was on there. But definitely DNA, Hank Love was first, and then also two come on after that. And that's where like a lot of people don't realize it was a beauty salon called Billie Jean's, and then they like Ghostface had made a reference to that show because of that, because it was like a weekly commercial, and all the girls would go there, dudes go out. You hear them talk about barbershops, and you know that's when they was talking about the Jersey fade, and this one we didn't realize people in Brooklyn was getting the haircut we had in Jersey. But you listen to Hank Love and them, and they would tell you where to go get it from, as far as a haircut. So like that was, you know, and only reason why you knew about them because you was up late.
Yeah, because I was
on a Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, because I would normally stay up. It was Saturday from I think it was from 12. Because it was
it started at 12 and then it'd be over like 5.
Yeah, 5 in the morning.
Even Molly had a show on 105 at one time. Yeah, he had the Pirate Radio show too.
Yeah, Marley had one. That station, that Columbia station, they had another show too, besides Stretch Armstrong.
Right, because they stretching them started at Skinny Bones. Like it wasn't even called Stretch Armstrong. He had a whole other name, and then that's when he turned into Stretch Armstrong, and that's when he met Bob. Even with Bob, if you ever hear anybody say DJ Cucumber Slice, that's Bobito.
Yeah.
So that's when he started DJing.
Okay. And how was the room, that radio station?
Man, hey, I would say this. I've been up to Columbia a lot of times. And a lot of times with other artists I've met there, we met Hieroglyphics there the first time we went. Time we went up there, we met Pep Love. And then Pep told us that they was coming the next week. We came back and met the whole Hyro at Bob's show. A lot of cats, but the energy in the room. And I don't think that back then we thought about it in a way of like having pressure to spit. You know what I'm saying? It was, but as the years went on, because more people started coming, Biggie went up there. Nas went up there maybe like once or twice. Jay-Z went up there, Big L. So like we went up there early. So once people found out Cass was getting deals going up there, everybody started going.
Oh, so that's why.
So if you ever watched, they got actually a documentary for the radio show.
I've seen it.
Right. So if you looked at that movie, that's what it was like in the room. Anytime you came in there, because of how it built up, you had to go in there knowing that you got to perform and do your thing.
And that reminded me of in the doc, I think it was about cassettes. That they would get cassette tapes, like cassettes, like every night, a whole bunch, more than the usual cassette. Yeah. And they would have some of them they listen to, some of them they skip through, which is so
Trust
crazy.
me, I was up there at a time where it was just big hefty bags of tapes in there, and Stretch showed me. I was like, wow.
Oh.
And this was like like I said, at a time where people was figuring out like this is where you get hurt, and so they started sending their demos in, and you know, it's just like my man Eclipse on halftime radio. It's hard for them to get a lot of these tapes or CDs or whatever and listen to everything, you know. And then this is when the comedic part of the show started coming, because they would start playing a lot of these demos, and it was like hilarious, like the stuff they would play, and that's when the show got even more like intricate with playing music, playing demos, and then still have dudes come up to freestyle too. So that was like the range that they had. You know what I'm saying? They had New York until even when they went to Hot 97. It was even though it was a little different, it was still the same packaging.
So to me, I think it was way better at the pirate radio than Hot 97, because Hot 97 was like, you could tell it wasn't organic.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? And see, that's how it works when you try to get it to the masses. You know, Stretch and Bob was something that you found on your own, but then when you did find it and you was part of a collective of people, you know, that like whether you was at work, whether you with your friends. I was going to work in the morning on Thursday, going to work on Friday, and I would have to buy 120-minute tapes because I knew that I would probably fall asleep.
Yeah.
At least if you and you won't hear that pop every time when the tape stop. So if you missed that, hopefully you got one side. If you see that you ain't turning it over, you got to call one of your friends like, yo, did you listen to the whole show? Like, yeah, and then they probably had a 120-minute tape. So you know, and all because, you know, even from the time we started going up there till we made our records, I always listened, even when they was off. My man Susio, he was up there at 89, and the tradition was still going. So, but like I said, you was making records, and then you would hope to hear them play it because you knew they was an underground station to go to.
It's like, to me, I felt like it was like the Billboard radio at that time.
Yeah, for everybody. Like, trust me, everybody you can name underground wise was up there.
Yeah, I think